At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. It's The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight is vetica and densiti.
Vetica and density.
Oh my god,
I know.
I was so far off.
Technically, I think you pronounced it like kind of how it should be if it was like a name, but it's our moody monikers for this project.
I'm gonna have to write that down phonetically. I'm definitely gonna get that wrong a few more times tonight, so apologies. Would you like to introduce yourselves real quick?
Sure. We are Vetica and Density. My name is Matthew Bingeno.
I'm Amanda Marquis.
And this is our brand new project where we are making our own blend of melodic and house, techno, progressive kind of music. And we're stoked to be here.
Well, we always like kicking off with a song. So what have you got to start us off with?
We're going to play our lead new song called Come Down. Hopefully you like it.
Vetica and Density there with Come Down. So, we're discussing a little bit before we came on. You're two people from a larger band, is that right?
Yeah, we feel free to chime in, Amanda. But we also play in this band called Night Protocol, and
Yeah, we make synthwave, very 80s retro inspired. I sing, Matt plays keys, and we're currently missing our bassist and saxophonist. But this is our side project, and we produce together in our bedroom. And
over the past few months, it's been a nice solace, a nice escape from everything to make this kind of music.
Was this kind of like your COVID project? Does the rest of the band have their own kind of projects, and this was kind of like, all right, we're gonna go?
We were joking about that before, like, what, the other two members, are they starting their own side project? Probably not. I think they got a lot going on. But honestly, there's been something in the works for a while with us, and I think this year we had no excuse to not do it. We really love house music. We love going to clubs. We love all sides of it. And so we've always wanted to do like a live kind of electronic house thing. But I think it took on a new form. You know, I've been into many types of music over the years, and definitely a lot of weird, dark stuff. But this year, I think we really felt more than ever it's important to do something kind of uplifting and melodic. And so kind of a little bit laid back and still electronic, but a little more organic sounding was something we wanted to go for. So that's what we've tried to do.
yeah.
So what kind of the bigger differences between you and Night Protocol in terms of your sound and the kind of themes that are running through? So you've already said that it's a bit more uplifting than maybe some of your stuff from Night Protocol.
Yeah, I think Night Protocol definitely has the retro aesthetic and really operates within this genre of synthwave. But I think with this project, we feel a little bit more freedom to kind of experiment and possibly, I think Night Protocol tends to be a little bit campy at times, a little bit more theatrical. So this will give us a little more freedom to emotional freedom, I think, to explore some of those more touching kind of subjects.
Yeah, we do a lot more analog synths for that, like bigger setup. This is right now, even if you're just hearing it, it's a very compressed little setup, just sampler and MIDI keyboard. But for Night Protocol, we try and have like syncopated lights and all the rest of that, and maybe someday, but for this music, we really just wanted the music to be part of this and to keep it simple. And still a lot of the tracks, like I'm playing here, are MIDI recordings of some analog synth samples, but for Night Protocol, we're using a lot more of those retro synths and stuff. And I usually am using a keytar, and this I'm not using the keytar. That would not fit with what we're doing right now. So if you're listening, I'm not playing keytar. It is a normal keyboard.
Unfortunately. I'd have loved it if you brought a keytar in. Definitely can see what you mean by campy, by the way. But you said, you're a bit theatrical, and I did kind of look online and had a little look at, I went down the little rabbit hole of your own musical and some of your professional work as well. And you've got incredibly well-produced videos for Night Protocol, the arcade one especially. I was kind of blown away. Nice. So is there a plan on kind of bringing that kind of same production values, the same drama to Vetica and Density?
I'd like to someday. This is very new. We're definitely, there's a style of music I've always wanted to create. This is like the first time I've started to learn how to. We're already working on some new songs I think are even better than these ones, which is a weird thing to say. I still love these tracks, and they've meant a lot to us this year. But, maybe someday we can send them into like a record label and maybe do more with it. But even Night Protocol is completely DIY. We're doing all of our, like, that was a video that we shot with awesome crew here, like Trez Films, and they were amazing. Yeah. But, we produce even the Night Protocol stuff in home studios, and we do have a studio downtown now and trying to up our production value for everything. But this is a little more reliant, I think, on the emotion, the feeling of it, rather than trying to act like we're bigger than we are.
A little smaller scale, a little bit more portable too, and it's nice to be able to kind of jump up while we're kicking around the house and collaborate and make something together.
And so in terms of making something together, I mean, you did just come out with your first EP, Into Dust. So what's the recording process like been like to create that EP?
Way too many hours in Ableton.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the tracks have evolved this year with way too much time at home. It's been really hard to find that creative energy. I also teach media arts, and I just like from that experience, I can feel like a lot of artists, all like my students, it's so hard to get inspiration this year when you're just trapped in a smaller space and fewer people to inspire you and fewer ideas and fewer things being shared. And so in that space, I think kind of retreating into the confines of Ableton and some synthesizers and plugins was actually kind of refreshing to hone in the sound and gave us a lot to focus on. So yeah, the production was mostly we'd start and write the music, then share with Amanda, and she would really take poems almost she'd written and turn them into the lyrics and song parts.
So Matt, I think, responds to this pressure by being really productive, as much as he says that he isn't, but he's the kind of creator who's always creating. So a lot of the songs, all the tracks you're hearing kind of came to me as like a nearly finished production. So it feels to me like I'm getting not a blank canvas, but a canvas, I guess, something to really work with. So I take everything that I'm feeling from him and from the music, and I write to that, and yeah.
Now, and like we've been using this like a vocal transforming pedal, and you can hear some of the harmonies in there too. I think we're looking forward in the future to incorporating Amanda's vocal more as an instrument than just like, you know, a lead part on top too, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, really exciting to develop in that way, but learning a lot from this one.
In terms of the lyrics across the EP, did you find yourself coming back to the same things, or is it kind of a bit of a mixture of themes and ideas that you kind of came up with?
Yeah, I think a lot you'll find in a lot of the lyrics that I wrote kind of some like cosmic themes. It's interesting to think about kind of being in isolation, having really small bubbles, and kind of maybe it's a sort of escape to think about a really infinite universe somewhere beyond our bubbles. I've always found that to be a metaphor that I've been drawn to. So, yeah.
Do you also write for Night Protocol?
Yeah, I do lyrics and vocals partially for Night Protocol. We share a little bit more there. And Matt, of course, also contributes to lyrics in this project as well. But we write together, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in the Night Protocol, we all sing, unfortunately. So, but Amanda, luckily, is the beautiful lead.
Fortunately, we all have great voices. Well, all can sing. So,
it's a good girl.
And so you mentioned that there's already tracks on the way after this that are better than the ones you've currently created. So thanks for bringing in the unfinished initial tracks you create. But what is it that you learned from these initial tracks that you kind of been changing with this kind of next batch?
Oh, so many things, and feel free to pitch in. But I think mostly we've been we haven't been out dancing in clubs, and I think a lot of these tracks I've loved doing them, and they've come from like my background of writing more pop music. But one thing that I think we're trying to do in our next productions is bring back that kind of groove of house music. When you're at a club and you're listening to house music, you really want that repetition. You want to kind of lose yourself in the music. So I think next productions are still going to have the meaning, the melody, the emotion behind it, but want it to have a little more of that just dance groove that you get at a club when things are just kind of going off. Something that, we can play live, but also could be DJ'd out.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a really particular kind of hypnosis when you really get into a great electronic music track or mix, and bringing some more of those flows and vibes into the next EP.
And I got a dope new synth that's been really fun, so that's also why.
That's what's making all the difference.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear another track. So what have you got for us?
I think we're going to do our next one from that, our first release here. It's a song called Snowdrift.
Snowdrift there by Vetica and Density. And going into winter with a name like Snowdrift, is it the environment that we're in that kind of inspires some of these songs?
The actual name for that one, every time I make a song, I give it usually like a one-word dumb title so I remember what the project file was. And I don't know, I think I did that one in the dead of summer too, but I was just like, it sounds dark and cold and moody, so Snowdrift. I don't know, I think
he's a winter boy too.
Yeah,
I see.
I actually am crazy enough to like this time of year. But yeah, just I don't know, just it felt atmospheric and almost like you could feel little particles of wind and snow flying around. So yeah.
There's a lot of beauty and inspiration in the desolation of this season that we're heading into too. So sometimes it's nice to have your desolate feelings validated by the environment.
For real, I don't think we've ever talked about this. I actually really like what you did with that song. We named it Snowdrift, and you kind of interpreted the snow to be way deeper, and like you never really talked too much about like the snow, like snow drifting, but like kind of I think you wrote the lyrics on something I talk about a lot. And like, you know, reality is one day we're going to be gone, and you know, one of the reasons I do music is because we got to leave something behind, and maybe what we leave behind will be something that will inspire others to feel something or maybe sing along and repeat it. But you know, that's a really dark thought, but is a thought that I think is important, worth thinking about. So I appreciate that. That's something I mentioned many a late night to Amanda, and that she turned that into lyrics in a much better way than I ever could.
Absolutely everything that we do is going to leave something behind. So it's nice to have art as an outlet to make sure that at least one of the things that you're leaving behind is beautiful and interesting, positive, and tells something about us now.
I like that sentiment. So in terms of your process, are you two like sending each other bits of songs back and forth late night, or do you have dedicated times when you're allowed to do that, and outside of those hours is a big no-no? What's the kind of working relationship that goes on here?
That's a great show and answer, Shay.
Well, Matt's production setup is in our bedroom,
so we live together.
I hear every part of the process, and that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
But it is, it allows me, because he's, you know, producing in Ableton, producing on the computer, a lot of that involves repetition, and listening to every little sound and bit of the production over and over again. And because of that, I get to just listen over and over and over again. And I think that gives me a lot of time to feel it and think about it and draw in some of the things that I'm thinking and feeling at that time and apply them to the little bits and pieces that he repeats.
But truly, I think anybody listening who hears this who lives with or around somebody who produces music, especially electronic music, knows the terror of an 8-bar loop that just gets repeated and repeated and repeated. And like, you're not changing anything. What are you doing? Like, why are you still playing that? It sounds exactly the same. No, I'm EQing the kick drum.
I'm surprised that headphones aren't used, if I'm honest with you.
Me too. maybe that would be. You got to hear it, and it's part of a process. So it would be. It wouldn't be the same if we didn't have that element.
I see. Yeah. So is it any kind of time, day or night, you might an idea will pop up, and then you run up to the bedroom or whatever, and start working on something, or is it
a lot of the tracks?
Structured?
Oh, sorry. No,
sorry, go on. Yeah, sorry.
No, as you're saying that, I was thinking about it. I was like, actually, a lot of these. So, as I said before, I'm a teacher, and I built a little mini production studio for my students, and a few of them use it. I use it a lot, and sometimes, like, while they're working on stuff, I'll just go back and be like, "All right, you guys good? Okay, good." And I'll just go back and like start jamming around. And actually, a couple of these songs were kind of started as little demos, and some of our other music while I was like at school with students. So it's nice to kind of have a space at work that you feel comfortable in, and sometimes being around all the kids makes me like, oh, it's a good time to make music. So.
I do a lot of work in the car. I think my process is a lot more private. I have a really hard time even still sharing anything that I'm writing or working on until it's just about finished, which is unfortunate sometimes because if then we need to make changes to it, which we absolutely do all the time. It feels like I'm changing a finished song, but that's okay. But yeah, I think I really appreciate that little isolated bubble of my car to just listen to what he's created and like take that canvas that I was mentioning earlier and apply what the little bits and pieces that I've been putting together in my mind directly to it without pressure of somebody overhearing me do so.
And hopefully you don't hit any other cars. Oh,
I'm very focused.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
good.
kidding, I'm kidding.
I think sometimes too that multitasking, helping turning a little bit of your focus off or like dividing it a little bit helps with the improvisation process. So
yeah, I've definitely heard that before. You're not the first singer-songwriter to say that they kind of do most of the work in their car. It's definitely a common theme. Is it the sort of people who need to get one thing done before you move on to the next? Or if you've got like 50 different projects on the go?
Oh, 50 different projects on the go, like crazy. Yeah. Both of us, we love music. For me, especially, music is my favorite thing to create. But not only do we do this and also Night Protocol, but I also produce some other styles of music. But also, like, I'm a photographer, filmmaker. I do some design stuff as well. Amanda's a painter, so we're always doing flip-flopping between different stuff. And that's really exciting, and I'm glad, and I wouldn't change that for $1 million. But I feel like sometimes, like, if I could just focus on one, it would probably be better, but rather than doing a little bit of everything. But I don't know. That's part of just who we are.
Decompression projects definitely help with burnout.
Yeah. For sure. And we don't have too much time left, but I want you to kind of talk a little bit about this EP and how you're going to get it out. I know, obviously, COVID is still very much rampaging through the state. And that's been a real big issue for a lot of people to be able to kind of get this music out, even though a lot has been produced in this time. So what's your plan to kind of promote and get this into people's ears?
Still figuring that out.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been a hard year, and we've been wanting to share stuff and then always second guessing it also and just wondering what to do. And I think finally, especially as this whole second wave of stuff hit, I think Amanda and I were just like, let's just do it. Let's just put them up just on SoundCloud, nothing too, and just enough to just share what we've done. And when you do that, it's amazing how easy it is. But the thing is, you don't get that. Maybe some people will listen, which is awesome, and leave some comments and stuff, but you don't get that feedback you do of playing it at a show. And really for this style of music, like having DJs play it out and remix your stuff and do more of that. So I think we're missing that in-person energy and feedback from it. But for now, definitely maybe going to send it to some record labels that do a lot of the styles of this, because there's so much made in the many genres and sides of house music, and our tracks are definitely a little all over the place, like a little bit techno, a little bit of house, but there are a lot of record labels that aren't too huge that we're hoping maybe just to share some stuff with, and hopefully they can hear a little something in our tracks and help us promote it a little bit more. But until then, we're really honored by our friends playing it and sharing it with more people.
Yeah, and incredibly appreciative for you folks having us here tonight too. It makes it feel real.
I'm glad we can be part of the process. If people would like to listen to your music, or if they'd like to follow you on social media, how do they do that?
Right now we're purposefully being very minimal in a lot of things, because literally I think that's almost the thing now, is like, okay, now we gotta have an Instagram, you gotta have Facebook, you gotta go separate Twitch channel, all this stuff, and that stuff's great, but it gets overwhelming. It really does, and there's so many different. So literally, we are purposefully keeping this very minimal. We do have a website, just because I actually just got my own hosting capabilities this year, so I'm making websites left and right now. But we do have our own website, which is just vetica&denciti.us. And it's US because we're from the US, and it's also us. But also, that and SoundCloud, and but literally we're purposely keeping it minimal. We just want the music to speak for itself, and maybe soon, once we have more to present, we'll have videos and more.
Music on social media is hard because, a lot of the social media platforms that we're used to are so visually driven and reliant on just a split second decision to like or tap or share. So a lot of those, like Instagram and Facebook, the more visually driven ones, I think it feels good right now to kind of be patient and wait on those until it feels right.
Yeah, it's nice keeping it minimal, and right now there's like you said, there's so much great content being created, and that's awesome. And I think it has been a revolutionary time for a lot of creators and adapting in a lot of ways. But I think once you get all those social media things, I think you really are starting to fight this battle. And it's not that people don't care like your stuff, it's just like people don't always just have time to listen to everything too. So for right now, we just have some music which maybe can color somebody's day and whatever they're doing, and down the line hopefully some more.
Fantastic. Well, we would love to hear one last song to play us out with. What have you got for us?
Last song is called Singularity.
I think it's my favorite.
It was the first one.
Thanks for having us.
Vetica and Density there. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate
Super appreciate it. This is fun.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no worries. And that is the last Rocket Shop we have for 2020. Well done, everyone. We managed to get through it.
Snuck it in.
Just hopefully. We will see you back in January. I have no idea who my first guest will be, but I'm sure it's going to be... Neither does Bob. I'm sure it's going to be a cracker. Have a really happy holidays. We'll check you out again in 2021. That's been The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.